Are you familiar with overtime pay? Yes, very good. Overtime pay describes the additional pay given to employees who work beyond 8 hours. Example, if an employer has an irregular work which is for 8 hours from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then he is requested to work for another couple of hours which is 5 and 6 p.m. that is called the overtime work for the employee. Now, according to the Labor Code of the Philippines, the rate of overtime pay is additional 25% of the hourly rate for work performed in excess of 8 hours on ordinary day. But this rate can change according on what type of working days the employee will be requested to work. And what are those working days? So I will be presenting the table which has the kinds of working days and their equivalent hourly rate and the overtime rate. This column, these are the working days, the regular working days, the rest days or special working holidays, the rest day which falls on the special working holiday and regular holidays, as well as the rest day which fall on the regular holidays. Now on this column, it has the hourly rate for 8 hours, which contains 100% for regular, and rest day 130%, and then rest day which falls on a special non-working holiday 150%, 200 for regular holidays, and rest day which falls on regular holidays is 260%. Now their overtime rate is much more bigger than the hourly rate because it is the work or it is the hours beyond their ordinary or regular working days or working hours. For regular days, uh, the overtime rate will become 125% of their regular hourly rate. And then for rest day or special non-working holidays, it becomes 169%. And then for the rest day, which falls on this special day, it has 195%. And then for regular days, it has 260%. And for the rest day, which falls on the regular holidays, it is now 338%. Now, we need to take note of this table because it will be our basis for computing for our overtime pay. Now, but before that, let's first know what is a regular holidays. These are holidays which usually have a fixed date. And with the calendar in 2022, these are the regular holidays listed on our national calendar. And for the uh, um, uh, special holidays, these are the being enacted by Congress or declared by the President during special working holiday. Offices are open, schools have classes, and there is no additional pay for workers will report to work. This kind of holidays is just being invented or declared by the President. Therefore, if the President said that they declared that it is now a um, this day is a special holiday, then the whole country will acknowledge this day as a special holidays. Now, this table shows the special non-working holidays for the year 2022. And this table shows the special working holidays for the same year. And to proceed, we have here the double holiday. What do you mean by double holiday? It happens when there are two holidays which fall on the same day. For example, if Araw ng Kagitingan falls on the same day as Monday, Thursday, or Good Friday, it is called a double holiday. Again, a double holiday may happen if in the same day there are two holidays happen. That is called the double holiday. Now, since we're talking about the overtime rate and the hourly rate, let's focus on the computation for overtime pay. But now, let me let us solve for the overtime rate per the type of working holidays. Are these ordinary rest day which falls on the special working holidays, the regular holidays, and the rest days on regular holidays, so that we can differentiate or we can see the difference of the overtime rate of that said working days. So let us start. Let us start with the overtime rate. Now, during the examples, I will be presenting same scenario for the rest of the type of working holidays for you to determine the difference of this type of working days. Now, I have here for an ordinary day, Mirna earns a regular daily rate of 340 pesos for 8 hours, but he is requested to work for 10 hours, which is extended for 2 hours. Therefore, that 2 hours is what we call the overtime. To solve for her regular day, we need to compute first for the hourly rate. How are we going to do that? Let us first divide the daily rate to the number of working hours. In Myrna's case, we have 340 pesos, and the number of her working hours is 8. Using our calculator, we'll get 42 pesos and 50 centavo. Therefore, um, it is the hourly rate of Myrna during a regular day. Since we need to compute the 10 hours daily rate or the 10 hours rate of Myrna on regular day, we need to compute the overtime rate. Now, her regular hourly day rate is 42 pesos as we computed earlier. Then, using our calculator, we just need to multiply 42 pesos and 50 centavos to 125% or 1.25. We'll get an overtime rate of 53 pesos and 125 centavos per hour. Now, if she worked for 3 or 4 hours, we just simply multiply this to the number of working hours to get our uh, overtime rate. Solve for the total pay of Myrna for ordinary day using this formula. 8 hours times the hourly rate plus overtime rate times the number of overtime hours. Again, her 8 hours is the regular working hours of Myrna times 42 pesos and 50 centavos hourly rate, which we have computed a while ago. And then our overtime rate is 53 pesos and 125 centavo times 2 hours. Why do we multiply it to 2 hours? Because Myrna is requested to work for 10 hours, and then her regular hour is or working hour is just 8 hours. Then the exceeding hours, which is 2 hours, is the couple of hours Myrna will work for all her overtime. Therefore, we need to multiply this overtime rate of Myrna to 2 hours. Therefore, we'll get, using our calculator, 340, and plus this 106 is just the product of these two. And then we just simply add and we'll get the total pay of Myrna for the ordinary day, which is 446 pesos and 25 centavos. Now, what if Myrna is requested to work on her rest day or special holiday? What would be her total pay during that day? Again, I presented the same scenario. Her regular daily rate is 240 pesos for 8 hours, and then he is requested to work for 10 hours on that day. How are we going to solve for her overtime pay? We simply get her hourly rate. How are we going to solve for her hourly rate? We just simply multiply her regular hourly rate to the hourly rate percentage written on the table a while ago. On this one, notice in this table, the rest day or special working holidays, it has an hourly rate of 130% or 1.3. Therefore, we should multiply this regular hourly rate of Myrna to 130% or 1.3. And then using our calculator, we get 55 pesos and 25 centavos hourly rate of Myrna during on her rest day or special day. What is being noticeable in this formula or in this solution or for the rest of the solution is this hourly rate and the overtime rate, because it will change depend on the kind of working days. Notice that the overtime rate for the hourly rate and the overtime rate for ordinary day is very different to rest day or special working holidays, or hourly rate and overtime rate, as well as to the rest day which falls on the non-working holidays, regular holidays, and the rest day which falls on the regular holidays. Therefore, we need to take note of this. Now, let us proceed in solving for her overtime rate. How are we going to solve this? We just simply multiply regular hourly rate of Myrna to overtime rate percentage, which will be based on the table. Now, her hourly rate is now different from ordinary day. We solved it a while ago. Her hourly rate during rest day or special day is 55 pesos and 25 centavo multiplied by 169. Again, her overtime rate during the rest day is 169%. We'll get 93 pesos and 372.5 or 3,725 centavo. This is now her overtime pay. To solve for her total rate from that day, we just simply use our formula a while ago. This 8 hours times hourly rate plus overtime rate times number of overtime hours. Again, 8 times 55 pesos and 25 centavo. Notice this one because it is different. Her hourly rate is now different from ordinary rate because a while ago, her ordinary rate is just multiplied by 100% or just 1. But during the rest day, it is multiplied by 130% for the rest day. Therefore, it is more bigger and it is not the same with ordinary rate. Then, we add it by the overtime rate, which is 93.3725 times 2 hours. Again, this is the exceeding hours after the 8 hours of regular work. Now, 442 pesos plus 186.745 centavos will get 6,000 or 628 pesos and 745 centavo. Now, this 628 pesos and 745 centavos is now her total pay for that day or that rest day or special day. Now, let's move on to what if Myrna is requested to report or to work on rest day which falls on the special day. How are we going to solve that? Or for example, Myrna is requested to work during her rest day which falls on Monday, Thursday, and what would be her total pay? First thing to do is to solve for hourly rate. Again, regular hourly rate times hourly rate percentage from the table. Okay, let us focus on this one. A rest day which falls on a special non-working holiday, it has a hourly rate of 150%. Now, again, her regular hourly rate is 42 pesos if it is not holiday or her rest day. It is 42 pesos and 50 centavos multiplied by 150% for her hourly rate during rest day and which falls on the special day. Then, using our calculator, we'll get a product of 63.75 pesos. This number is now her hourly rate during her rest day and which falls on a special day. Then, let us solve for overtime rate. Overtime rate is equals to hourly rate times overtime rate with percentage. What is this? Again, her hourly rate is now 63 pesos and 75 centavos multiplied by 195%. Again, let us locate this number from the table. Total non-working holidays. Her overtime pay would be 195% or 0.95. Then, using our calculator, we'll get an overtime rate of 124 pesos and 0.3125 centavos. This overtime rate is now the overtime rate per hour of Myrna during the rest day or during her rest day and which falls on this special day. Now, let us solve for her total pay during that day. Again, 8 hours times hourly rate plus overtime rate times the number of overtime hours. 8 times 63.75. Again, this number is the hourly rate during her rest day which falls on the special holidays, plus 124.3125. Again, this is our overtime rate times 2. This 2 again is the exceeding hours of her regular day, regular working hours. Again, using our calculator, we'll get 510 pesos plus 248 pesos 0.625 centavos. We'll get 758 pesos 0.625 centavo. This number is Myrna's total pay during her rest day and which falls on special holidays. Notice, it is very easy to solve her total pay or her hourly rate, her overtime rate, if we know what is written or if we familiarize what is written on the table, which contains the hourly rate percentage for 8 hours and the overtime rate. Now, let us try to solve on a regular holiday. Again, the same scenario. But on this day, we are going to solve for Myrna during the Labor Day, if as requested of her employer. Now, how are we going to solve for the hourly rate? The same also what we did earlier. Her regular rate multiplied by hourly rate during that holiday. 42 pesos and 50 centavos multiplied by 200%. Again, let us go back again to the table. Regular holidays has an hourly rate for 8 hours of 200%. Therefore, we need to multiply this hourly rate to 2.0 or just 2. Using our calculator, we will get 85 pesos and using our calculator, we get 85 pesos. And now this will become her hourly rate during regular holiday. Again, to solve for overtime rate, we just simply use that hourly rate multiplied by her overtime rate during that holiday. And what is that overtime rate? It is, on the regular holidays, it is 260%. Now, multiply it using our calculator, we'll get 221 pesos. Therefore, her overtime rate per hour is 221 pesos. Now, to solve for her total day, just use the formula a while ago, or the formula that we used on the previous 3 examples, which is this, and then we'll get 8 times 85 pesos. Again, this 85 pesos is the hourly rate of Myrna during regular holidays, plus overtime rate 221 times or 221 pesos multiplied by 2 hours or the exceeding hours of her regular working hours, will get 680 pesos plus 442 pesos equals 1,050 pesos. This is now Myrna's total pay for regular holidays if he was requested or if she was requested to work on that day. Now, for the last example, or for the last holiday on the rest day which falls on a regular holiday, it is Myrna's rest day. But it is December 30 and it is Rizal Day. It is a regular holiday according to our calendar. And then she was requested to work on that day. What will happen to her total pay on that day? Get to compute for hourly rate, let us use 42 pesos multiplied 260. Again, let us base it to our table a while ago on this column or hourly rate. When it is rest day falls on a regular day, we'll use 260%. Again, 42 pesos and 50 centavos multiplied by 260% will get 110 pesos and 50 centavos. Again, if you notice this hourly rate of Myrna on regular day, rest day or special day, rest day which falls on the same or special day and or regular day, Myrna's Myrna's hourly rate is definitely much bigger than those 3 holidays or 3 working days. Again, let us now solve for her overtime rate during that day. We just simply multiplied her hourly rate to overtime rate percentage. Again, let us go back to our table. Simply multiply it, and using our calculator, we'll get an overtime rate per hour of 373 pesos and 49 centavos. Now, let us solve for her total pay during that day. We'll get 8. Again, let us use again this formula for her total pay per day. 8 hours multiplied by 110 pesos and 50 centavo, which is her hourly rate during that regular days, and plus 373.49, which is her overtime rate during that holiday, multiplied by 2 hours, which is the exceeding hours beyond her regular working hours. And then we'll get 884 pesos plus 746 pesos point 98 centavo. We'll get 1,257 pesos and 49 centavo. Is how we solve for the overtime pay during regular days or ordinary days, rest day or special working holidays, and then rest day which fall on the special holidays, regular holidays, and then for the rest day which falls on the regular holidays. Now, do you have any questions or clarifications? I guess what I need to tell you is just to remember this table, because this will help us to compute for the overtime rate. And if we know that table, it would be easy for us to solve for overtime rate, because we are familiar on what is the hourly rate and overtime rate during that day or during that holidays. If you have any question, just PM me or just chat on our group chat so that I can easily answer it and clarify it to you.